Hi, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, the Too Opinionated podcast could really use your help. And it's easy, it's free. IMDb, which is the entertainment database, imdb.com, named us a top 100 podcast. We came in at number 82. That's a big deal because there's 15 million podcasts and growing. So to be named to anybody's top 100 list, pretty big deal for us. And the way you can help is to go to imdb.com, look up the Too Opinionated podcast, and that's it. Just bringing our page up. That traffic really helps us out. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. All we ask is that you subscribe. It's also free, but that really helps us to attract these amazing guests that we keep bringing on the program. And that's it. Two easy ways for you to support us, and we would really appreciate the help. Now let's get to that interview. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated. I'm so excited today. I've got actor Stephen Tracy with me. So welcome, Stephen.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited to talk to you, and we've got a lot to talk about. But let's start this way. Stephen, tell me a little bit about what got you into acting. It's such a hard profession. What made you want to be an actor?
Right. I think the better profound answer that a lot of actors have is that they want to tell stories that change the world or like that make a difference. They
Yeah.
want to like see themselves in the roles that they didn't get to see um, when they were younger. But for me personally, I was an incredibly painfully shy child, like to the point where if I had a dollar at a gas station to get a little candy, I couldn't talk to the cashier. I would just go beet red. And I had an, and I was like really introverted and I like drew a lot. And I had this art teacher look at my artwork and just say, she put together a portfolio for me and submitted me to a school in the city
Yeah.
that was an art school. And I got in and then I went. And while I was there, someone was doing a play and they were casting brothers. They had the guy who they wanted, and I just happened to look like him. And so they asked me if I would audition, and like some inner voice whisper channeled through me and said, "Yeah, do it," despite the fact that all of my previous experience would tell me not to do it.
Right.
And then I did, and it was just like one of those things where you had the full conversation from A to B to C laid out in front of you. You didn't
Yeah.
have to come in and be charming or smart or funny. You just did what was on the page. And I think it was like an opportunity to be seen, and it gave me an internal challenge of like putting myself into uncomfortable situations. So from then on, I kind of got like hooked on that adrenaline rush of
Yeah.
doing things in spaces that I wouldn't give myself the permission to do so. And I mean, funny enough, the show included. Like I never thought that I was gonna be a special forces soldier. But yet here we are
Here we are.
getting to do that.
You've
But
come a
yeah.
long way since you were that introverted young man.
Mhm. Yeah, you never know. You never know where people are gonna end up.
Well, I've been an introvert my entire life, and when
Mm.
I was younger, it was really bad. And even to this day, the podcast kind of got me out of most of it. But after a day of podcasting, I have to have that alone time, to kind
Right.
of
Yeah.
kind of recharge. It takes it out of me to interact with people, which is ridiculous, but it does.
No, it's an energy exchange, right? And like
Yeah.
especially from a host POV, you're emitting so much onto the other person, and you're using so much curiosity to figure out like what's going on with them or learning more about them. So I feel you. As a
Yeah.
fellow introvert, I feel you. I see you, Michael.
Well, I appreciate that, and it surprised me when I first started doing the podcast that there's so many actors that are introverts. But a lot
Hmm.
of times you use that, that playing a role that's not you, so you can get
Hmm.
out, and kind of get around that introvertedness. But then after, I'm sure they need that recharge time too, and I'm guessing you need that as well.
100%. Well, I think you get to you're like yes, you're always pulling from how you would interpret a set of like circumstances when you're put into a role, whether that is like fighting an alien invasion or being sent to outer space or whatnot. That isn't in your everyday, but ultimately you are portraying another person or another story or another character, and you have the freedom to explore. You don't necessarily, you're not like coming at it as yourself. So you do need to like cocoon a little bit and go
Yeah,
back and be like, oh yeah, let me reconnect with me.
that's right. I know if people that aren't introverts, they have a hard time understanding this mindset. But when
Mhm.
I talk to other introverts, they totally get it.
Mhm. I mean, bless the Energizer bunnies of the world, those extroverts that
Oh,
just
we
don't.
need them.
We need them. They make a
We
lot of
do.
things happen.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. You were on The Expanse, which is one of my favorite book series, and they did an excellent job bringing that to the screen. But you were one of the kind of like a space pirate.
Yeah, a polyamorous space
Yeah.
pirate is the best way to describe it. Yeah, those books are fantastic.
Oh, they're so good.
Like it's like there's so much science behind it, but yet they're also Shakespearean. Like there's so much beautiful
Yeah.
literature combined. They're like operatic, but so specific. Great source material as an actor, getting to dive
Well, and
in.
it's a lot of political,
Hmm.
dialogue within that, especially between the different planets, and you've got the Mars
Hmm.
group, and you've got the Earth group, and you've got all these dynamics. I really well done series, but the adaptation, I thought was excellent.
Oh,
So
good.
good.
Well, I think that's the nice thing about sci-fi is you can actually talk about things that are happening in the real world. And what was so um, serendipitous about the season that I was in. So for anyone who's listening that doesn't know, The Expanse uh, is like set in the near future, and the Earth kind of becomes overpopulated. So they start sending people into space, and eventually people have lived on space stations for the majority of their
Yeah, it
lives.
kind of changes their physiology a little bit.
Yeah. Yes, their anatomy. Like they can't come back down to Earth because their body can't withstand gravity. It hasn't learned to adapt to that in this zero gravity environment. They become taller, they become leaner, and yet they're still human, so they're dependent on the resources on Earth. And there's a lot of countries in this world that are dependent on resources that other countries have abundance of. So there's like a direct translation to it. But as our season was airing, happened it started airing in 2020, 2021, and this
Yep.
was a lot of the Black Lives Matter movement was happening. And
Yes.
they even talked about how Earth had their boot on the neck of the Belters. And everything from that season became so much more charged, despite the fact that we had shot it a year prior, that the two stories were really connecting and being amplified at the exact same moment. And it was something because the writers were so on the cusp of what was happening in the world that we were able to like showcase an allegory for a very small portion of what is a bigger issue.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So well done. Excellent cast.
Hmm.
It's the dialogue between characters was really strong, and the special effects are pretty good.
Yeah, the special effects were amazing. I think like you're we we got to just like we were in our ships, but you never knew necessarily like how good of a driver someone was or like how accurate their aim was because you didn't get to see what the interpretations were going to be. So when the show started coming out, we got to see all of the effects and what was going on. And it really, really, really did amplify the whole experience. And also that the actors on the crew were amazing and the whole team was
Well, and it ran 5 seasons. Does that sound right?
six.
6 seasons. Yeah, which is that's a good run. But they could
Mhm.
have done more.
Yeah. Oh, I feel like there's a couple of video games coming out now, so
Yeah.
it still has some legs, but I feel like the fan population is so large and vast that I wouldn't be surprised if in the near future some fan billionaire wanted to finance another season or something because like it's one of the shows that I have learned that has the biggest breadth of
It's
fans that I've been on, and they're so dedicated and kind.
Have you got to do a convention?
No, I have been asked a couple of
Oh,
times
you need to do that.
to do one of those conventions, but like I know some I think this is the difference. Like the I think everybody calls them the screaming firehawks as fans. Um, I know some fandoms are like crazy
Yeah.
and outrageous, but there's something about the Expanse fans that feel like they're a huge group of introverts that are really polite, that are like, I just really enjoyed your work.
I love
As
that.
opposed to like, ah! Does that make sense? Like it's
Now I'm really curious because we cover a lot of conventions. Whenever I run into a expanse actor, I'm going to have to pay attention and
mm,
see if it's actually like that or if they're like most fan bases and just going out over
yeah.
the place when they're there.
Yeah, going
That's
ham,
funny.
as they say. Well, at least that's been in my experience. Like I had the people that have approached me have all been very polite and respectful and kind, and I'm like, "Hello, fellow introvert. Thank you for watching the show."
They're interacting with you, but it may be from across the room, and
Mhm.
they're turned a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, slightly. Like they're really excited to be there, but they're not going to show that to you,
That's
you know?
right. That's
Yeah.
right. So my wife was a big fan of Anne with an E. Uh,
Ah,
so and I probably wouldn't have watched it if it wasn't for the fact that she kept watching it, and I'd go through and get caught every time I go through. I'd be like, oh, this isn't too bad. So
mm.
eventually, I ended up watching it with her. Your character on there, I mean, that was unbelievable acting. You were
Oh,
fantastic. Best part of the show, I think.
oh, wow. That's high praise. You're gonna make me sweat.
Well, yeah, because it's a great show. It's really good, but absolutely loved your character, and it was
Oh,
it was well done,
thank
really
you.
well done.
The I mean, huge kudos to Maura Wally Beckett, who created the series.
Yeah,
She also was one of the main writers on Breaking Bad. She won an Emmy for an episode that she
and she
created.
knows what she's doing a little bit.
So she knows what she's doing. And you know what? She brought a little grit to Avonlea, traditional Canadian classic
Yeah,
about an orphan girl, and we actually got to see more of the like trauma that it would have been to be a 13-year-old girl being raised in a rural community in 1888. And she really gave me so much freedom with my character.
yeah,
And the like I think one of the first things that I was told was like the classroom is your stage, and you just get to uh, take up space how you
that's
want.
right.
And um, the there was like so much freedom in the playfulness or the ego or the
Yeah,
fragility of the character, and then like getting to have so much enjoyment tormenting the kids, the
yeah.
students, the youth actors at
Well,
the
you
time.
had some of that, but then you're also, you're kind of you're navigating a little secret,
Uh-huh.
behind the scenes, so you could tell you were um, conflicted at
Yeah.
times, and I thought you expressed that really well. Like you could, you knew everything's going on. Behind the scenes, there's a lot more going on.
Yeah. There's a lot more behind the mustache.
That's
I mean,
right.
I think that was also the funny thing with that show is when I think I had shaved my head when I auditioned for it, and I went in and I did my thing, and I booked the role, and then they brought me into hair and makeup for a test, and they're like, "Yeah, we're doing a mustache fitting," and I was like, "A mustache fitting?" But then they completely transformed it
Yeah.
into what it was. So that and the craziest thing is, and I have this on my Instagram. I'm gonna try to find it for you.
Okay.
I did that show for a couple seasons. And then the show finished on Netflix, and no one in my family told me this, but apparently I had an a great someone in my family
Yeah.
who uh I looked exactly like. Like someone found this photo and he
Oh, I
has
love that. So with the mustache, you look
and
like this person.
and the hair. Like I don't know if you'll be able to see it
Oh, you
there.
could totally. That looks. Yeah, it looks like you're a dead ringer.
It's like they pulled out the ghost of my great great someone from me, and then
That's
like
amazing.
and then like it just happened to be on the screen, and nobody brought this up for the entirety of the time that I was working
I
on the
mean, I
project.
think we've seen how you would look if you were, raised in that time period. That's
Yeah.
how you'd look.
Well, and you know what too? I think that it was a really great arc to get to play because uh at the time, I mean, we can talk about it now. I don't think there's any spoilers. But just like the character contemplating his own sexuality and not having an outlet for it, and being
Right.
like in the book that obviously doesn't happen, but the character is incredibly hard on the kids, and so giving an internal struggle reason for why he might be taking out those
That's right. Yeah, he's
frustrations.
acting out a little bit.
Was a really great a twist that Moira came up with, and it gave that character so much more depth than I think other iterations usually portray him as.
Yeah, yeah, because you actually you get some possible reasons
Mhm.
behind the attitude
Yeah.
that he's giving, where you wouldn't have got that previous.
No. Well, and it's so rare in life that people are that malicious
That's right.
towards others. Like it's usually like a self-hatred of some sort or some
Yeah, that's usually I think that's kind of how I took it. There's
yeah.
some uncomfortableness in Mr. Phillips' own skin, and
Hmm.
he's projecting that onto the
Yeah.
class.
Onto the class, onto those poor students, hiding behind that mustache, thinking that he's this powerful man.
That was a great mustache, though.
Oh, it was.
You might
It,
want to consider that.
you know what? You know what, Michael? If I could grow that amount of facial hair, I would. But no, they had to pay someone to put on it on me every single day.
Isn't that funny? Because some people they can grow facial hair like it's nothing. It takes them like a day,
Hmm.
and then most of us we might get a little bit, but it takes a while.
Yeah. Oh, like it looks like I'm trying. Like everyone's like, that's a lot of effort for you, isn't it? Like a lot of energy is going into it. But the funny thing was is it also changed the performance because it was living up here, and so I didn't have as much like movement from the
Oh
top.
yeah,
So
yeah.
everything became so much more
Well, yeah, because it's not like you're used to having that there.
no, well, it's like it's glued on, so it like changes the shape of your mouth, and I think that also allowed the character to drop in a little bit more where everything is here, as opposed to the way that I normally.
Yeah, yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to mention that because excellent. I credit my wife because I would have skipped that one.
Yeah.
And not because I didn't think it was a good show, just because there's so much out there. I probably
Mhm.
wouldn't sat down, but I'm so happy that we ended up watching it because it was a great show. It
Yeah.
really
Well,
was.
you know what, too? There's a huge fan base with that show. But the majority of them at the time were like teenage girls who are
Yeah,
now full adults,
that's right.
voting members of society.
Well, and you know how that goes. Those type of shows, those teenage girls that are now grown, they'll be having kids of their own, and one of these days they'll be passing that show on to them. You'll get a whole new generation watching it.
Hmm. Well, and the that show was really, really global as well. Like so many people I think were touched by that story, or it just connects, seeing uh it's stood the test of time for a reason. Just a
I mean,
young
you've got the perfect Halloween costume now forever.
hmm.
Throw a wig and a mustache on your set.
I mean, you know what too? Like the best part was like no, if I had done a really, really poor job, nobody was gonna know who I was anyways.
Well,
So
that take a little pressure off.
yeah, it did. I was like, yeah, if I suck, like no one's gonna be like see me walking down the street being like, oh,
There's
there's
that
that
guy.
guy. Yeah. Yeah. I never get approached for that character because nobody knows
No, yeah, it
that that
looks
was
so
me.
different.
Hmm.
Yeah. So speaking of sci-fi,
Hmm.
you're getting ready for Invasion season 3, which I started watching when it first came out. Absolutely love this show. It's got that War of the Worlds vibe without it copying War of the Worlds, if that makes
Hmm.
sense. It's a unique story, and I love the way that it's you're having an invasion, an alien invasion, and it kind of shows how that actually affects people. Because obviously, if we were invaded, it's going to have an effect. But we've seen so many science fiction shows and invasion shows, but I don't think we've ever seen to this respect that effect that would actually have on the planet, the Earth.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and they did a fantastic job of showing what that effect would be globally. Like they
Yeah,
didn't just set it in the
that's right.
state. They had it in Japan. They also had
Yeah.
it in
Yeah, I
Afghanistan. They had
like
it
the
in the
switching
UK.
to different parts of the world to show what's going on.
And the I think what was also really well done in that first season is the the way that it was like people were resistant to the fact that things were happening. Like it was
Yeah.
almost like a disbelief because
Yes.
that's how we are as human beings. We're
Oh, we would totally be that way.
yeah, we're what is it? The frogs in the boiling pot where we don't realize it's getting
That's
hotter and
right.
hotter, you know? Global warming. I'm just kidding, but that is happening.
I'm kidding, but there's some truth to that.
Yeah, no, it's happening. It's happening. We're all worried about Florida. We're all worried about but yeah,
Well, I've said that this whole summer because it has been so hot this summer.
yeah.
I mean, like abnormally hot. You expect a little heat for the summer, but it's been crazy.
Oh, it has. And people have already kind of resigned to the fact that September is just around the corner and they're preparing for all this fall stuff. And I'm like, who are you kidding?
Yeah.
We're gonna be sweating for the next
Oh
like
yeah. Up
month.
into October.
Yeah, like it's summer's staying for a while, so it's not time to cool your jets.
That's right. Not yet. Not yet.
Let's keep
So
that.
so what is your role in season 3 of Invasion?
For okay, so season one, aliens have come, they have invaded, they're here. We learn about it. Season two, there is almost like a war between the aliens and the people, and it has accumulated into a giant battle that the humans have won. So there have been 2 years of peace, no alien activity, but all of a sudden, our hero, who we thought lost his life in the
Yeah.
big battle, played by Shamir Anderson, which is his character of Trevante Cole, has come back, and we learn that the aliens were not they had not disappeared, but they were regrouping, and they've come back with a bigger apex alien. And in this season, it's the first time that the entire cast, which has been spread out across the world for the first two seasons, are coming together to combine their forces and their unique
It's
abilities,
exciting.
their intel to defeat the aliens. And I play a special forces soldier that is helping them escort them to attempt to defeat these big bad guys.
Did you have to
Yeah.
do any special training for it?
Yes. We Apple TV Plus really puts a big emphasis on practical effects,
Yeah.
and they put us through several rounds of weapons training. So we had weapons training on like multiple different
Have
firearms.
you ever fired a gun, anything like that?
No.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
I'd be the same way. I've never done that either. So yeah, they'd have to train me.
yeah, like I like the my family has a farm, so I've been around weapons, but I
Right.
myself have never been like particularly interested in them.
Yeah.
So, but they did have us like do several rounds of weapons training for it, and because we were firing blanks on set, so it's like there was ammo in the guns, and they were making noise, and they would jam, and we would have to unjam them, and they wanted to make sure that we could do that proficiently because we are not just in the military, but we're a special forces unit in the military. And there's so many little details that get given away to show that you are not aware of
Yeah.
like the what goes into it. So having all of that training going on the day, you are no longer worried about holding your body in a certain way or holding the
Right.
weapon in a certain way or how to like clear a room or go around each other, make sure that you're not
Well,
like
because anybody that actually knows how to do that, they're going to pick it apart if you're not
immediately.
close. Yeah.
Yes, immediately. Like, and there are little things like not having your finger on the trigger the entire time.
Yeah.
And having your finger on the entire trigger on the entire time is like one of the most dangerous things because the most effective safety is not having your finger
That's
there.
right. That's
And
right.
it's like,
Well, you know
I,
how easy it is to move your finger without thinking about it. You don't want
yeah,
to fire a shot.
yeah, no, you of course you don't. Well, and then the funny thing is the second that you give anybody like even a fake gun that can't fire, the first thing that they do is they put their finger on the trigger. So now every time I watch a show with guns, I'm always like looking for all of those little details. But what it did was you showed up on the day and it allowed you to just be in your body so that the acting could be the thing that you were working on. It wasn't
Right.
like tuck your elbow in because you got a chicken wing and you could get clipped or whatnot. You
Yeah.
it gave you enough details to play with so that you felt like you knew what you were doing. And because we were firing blanks, there was like the
You had the sound at
the
least.
sound and also like the burst was
Oh,
was
yeah.
coming out.
Yeah,
And
like the
so,
powder. Yeah.
yeah, so we had like it lived in your body more because there was a kickback. It wasn't a full
Yeah.
kickback because it wasn't like the actual
Right.
gunpowder, but you had those little bits where you weren't faking it, because they weren't adding it in post.
Right. Yeah. If they were just adding the special effects later, you'd have to actually mimic that
Yeah. Well,
movement.
and I think this is something that it's a hill that I will die on. It's something that I will champion for forever is Apple TV Plus's ability to continue to make things practical when they can, because it just creates a way better viewing
Oh, yeah.
experience.
100%.
Like there's I'm not giving anything away, but there's there because there's helicopters in the trailer. But one scene we're in a helicopter just doing regular dialogue, and the day that we show up to set, we have a helicopter on a gimbal, which is something that moves the helicopter, and a giant like 60-foot 180-degree LED screen just showcasing whatever we were flying over top of.
Wow.
And so you didn't have to even use your imagination because it was all there. Like
That's
even
amazing.
it was just like rocking back and forth.
Yeah.
And it just made everything so much more real to the point where you're just in the circumstances. So you're barely
Yes.
having to use your imagination.
Well, yeah, you would at that point you don't necessarily have to be acting. You can just
No.
react to what's going on.
And I do like truthfully that I have a theater degree. That's the difference I think between theater and film is like theater, you're creating the circumstances
Yeah.
believably in your mind because 9 times out of 10 you're doing Shakespeare. The army isn't approaching. You don't get to see that, but
Right.
in film you do, so you get to react so much more, and it creates so many like so much more nuance in the performance because there are certain things that your body's feeling or you're seeing that your imagination couldn't have made.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's why it makes it
I love it. That actually makes it better for
Mm.
I'm a fan, but just knowing some of what they're doing behind the scenes to make it even more realistic, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I think those are things as a viewer that you just you don't necessarily pick up, but you feel when you're watching it, especially
Yes.
compared to other programs.
Well, I mean, most of the episodes feel like you're watching a movie
Hmm.
because it's just the production value is so high. And I'm kind of the opinion that Apple TV does not make a bad program. Like
I
I haven't
agree.
seen one yet. Every show I've watched on Apple has been really well done.
I
Really well
agree.
done.
I think they really, really emphasize quality
Yeah,
storytelling, quality
yeah,
projects. And I think that's why they've really become the top contender uh, in the streamer game in the last little while. Also, our show was number one on Apple TV Plus for the past week since it aired,
yeah. Amazing.
which is
Well,
great
and
for
that
us.
just goes to show you because when it came out that first season, I mean, they advertised it, but it was a little hidden. It took a
Mhm.
little. It took that season, I think, to really get the fan base. And then when it
Mhm.
came back for season two, of course, everybody's already on board, and it's just built from there. But it had kind of a slow building.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe it's an allegory for the actual like invasion of like, hey, is this happening? is
Yeah.
this a is this worth it? And then it turns out like it is. Oh, it is happening. Oh, it's a thing now. It's a thing.
Well, and admittedly, I love sci-fi, so I'd probably watch it anyway. But I started watching because of Sam Neill. Who's there
Yeah.
at the very beginning, and I love that. He's such a
Yeah.
good actor, and it kind of drew me in. And then there's so much else to get
Uh-huh.
attached to once you start watching.
The crazy thing that happened regarding Sam was Sam Neill was shooting a series called Untamed
Yeah,
on the same lot that we were. And
really.
one day he came over and he plays a forest ranger on the show Untamed and pretty much similar sheriff-y
Yeah, yeah.
costume to his in
Untamed's a great show too, by the way. But that's kind of hilarious that they're filmed in the same.
Yeah. Well, and then he came over to the lot and everyone was like, "What? Is this like a super secret thing that the writers are doing that they're bringing
They
him?"
thought he was coming back for the show.
Yeah. 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 Spoiler, he wasn't, but he just happened to be there at the exact same time and like in the appropriate costume, appropriate outfit. Like, oh,
That's hilarious.
yeah. Yeah, it was very, very funny. Beautiful, nice, kind man.
Yeah, yeah. I've always heard that with him. Just he kind of gets it.
Yeah.
Just kind of down to earth and professional, and you know, willing to help. All the stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. What were you a fan of the show before you got cast?
I hadn't watched it, but I
Yeah,
had heard of it. And once I started watching it, I got hooked. I think I
yeah,
watched the season in like like 2 days
yeah,
or
yeah. Like a
something like
weekend.
that. Yeah, but the storytelling is so um artfully crafted and there's such good performances and it is so unique in comparison to the majority of the other sci-fi stuff that's
Yeah.
out there
Yeah,
right
because you don't like initially you don't think that, because we're getting invaded again.
now.
Okay. But it's different. It's and different better, I think. It's a unique premise, and I really do love the way that they actually show you're not just seeing like a blown up city. You actually see the effects that the whole thing is having just on the people. And
Yeah, and how that affects different people culturally
yeah,
too. It's
yeah,
not just a general oh yeah, this is what it is now. And I think too, in terms of sci-fi, there's most sci-fi doesn't bridge our world and another world
yeah.
because it's coming from the human POV and the alien POV. Usually it's like this is the world of the sci-fi, or these in this world people can do this. It's our world, just where we are adjusting to these things that are coming in. And I think it almost makes it more, it gets under your skin a little bit more because
Yeah.
it feels more realistic.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, I agree with that. Yeah,
so
I think you're exactly right. Um, will we, do you believe, get a season four?
I don't know. Uh,
Yeah.
that
I
is,
mean, Apple's pretty good about sticking with their shows, so I'm assuming maybe it's at least a possibility, but I hope so. I hope it goes
yeah,
on for a little while.
yeah.
As much as I'd like to see how it ends, I'm okay pushing that
With
back
it
for a little.
going on, yeah, going on. I mean, yeah, me too, but obviously above my pay grade, you
That's
know?
right. That's right. But it'd be nice.
Hmm.
I don't know. We haven't seen how your story arc goes yet, but
Hmm.
I'm hopeful that you survive and have the opportunity to come back for next
I
season.
I appreciate the sentiment. I appreciate the sentiment, and obviously, I am not at liberty to disclose
Well,
anything.
no, no,
But
no. Don't give it away. But if you don't survive, I hope it's a glorious death.
hey, you know what? I think that's the best wish that you could give any actor. Like you could wish
Right.
that on any actor. That's a really great thing. I think I'm going to start using that too.
Yeah, you don't want to you don't want to pass away like in your sleep.
Mm-mm.
You want something kind of epic.
Yes. Or I think the worst thing that could happen to an actor is passing away off screen.
Yes.
You know? where they're like just not there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Steven's not coming back.
Yeah, he didn't make it. That would be a harsh one. That would be a harsh one.
That'd be tough.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'd be like,
Hmm.
you couldn't just do that on camera.
No. But I really like what you said. I'm gonna say that to my fellow actor friends before I start the show. Be like, hey, I'm so excited for this. I hope you do such a good job that they bring you back for another season, or I hope you die gloriously.
Yeah.
Like I think that's my new wish for people on their
I think
next.
that's a good wish for an
Yeah.
actor. I mean, that's what you'd want. I mean, ideally,
Yeah.
the role continues.
Hmm.
But if it doesn't, let's
Go
end
out
it
with a
in a way
bang.
that people are going to remember.
Yeah, I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. I'm stealing that right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Yeah. You can have it. You don't have to steal it. You can just take it.
Oh, it's a gift.
It's a
Thank you.
gift.
Oh, thank you. So kind.
I wanted
So
to ask you about Stealing the Sky.
mm.
What can you tell me about this one?
Stealing the Sky was directed by Megan Follows,
Yeah.
and Megan Follows is a prolific Canadian actor who was the original 1980s Anne of Green Gables.
Oh,
Yeah, so I
okay.
had a little bit of a through line with Anne,
You
and
have.
she was on a CW TV show called Rain, which was like
Yeah.
the
Rain's a great show. Yeah. Enjoyed that one.
oh
Yeah.
great. I was also on Rain. That
Yeah.
was my
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
TV
You
show.
were Lord Thomas.
Yes, I was. I tried to steal a baby or something. But the that was Megan's first. She was a regular on the show, but she
Yeah.
was starting her directing, and her first time directing was my first episode, and I played the husband to her actual daughter.
Oh,
And yeah, and
yeah.
so and we all hit it off, had a great time. And then a couple of years later, she was doing this movie and she was like, hey, do you want to be her daughter's name is Lila,
Yeah.
another phenomenal actress. Do you want to be her husband again in this movie? And I said, obviously, yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and it was
I know. What are you going to say to that? Heck
yeah,
no.
no, it's like 100. Oh yeah, no, oh, sorry. But the premise is based off of this woman who wrote and starred in it, Marie
Yeah.
Dame, and she was living in this old factory style building in Toronto, and she had two different units, and she used them for like photo shoots or she would
Yeah.
Airbnb them, and she had a slew of crazy stories and guests and things that had happened. And so she decided to write this into a script because the the company that owned the building, I guess, had their lease was up, and so they had sold it, and it was going to be
Yeah.
torn down for new condos.
Ooh.
And so she was like, "This building is actually going to be torn down in 2 months. Why don't we take these 2 months that I have left here and shoot a movie as fast as we can?" And so it was quick
Bad.
and dirty, and we got to
Well, so
play.
is it one long story or is it several shorter stories?
It's one long story, and I get to be a chunk in the movie, which is one of the deplorable Airbnb guests, and as akin to my character on Rain, I get to play an uppity uh, British man who is a little bit lecherous, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so and there's a lot of like freedom to play and to be a little bit,
That's a great idea for a story. I've
isn't
never
it?
heard of that. Yeah, it's really good. It's
Just
really
like
good. And I did enjoy Rain. I always laugh with the CW because they they tend to put out really good shows, but it always has that soap opera element to it, no
Mhm.
matter what the genre is. And that just kind of amuses me because they've got their formula. They kind of stick to it.
They do, whether it's Elizabethan era or whether it's
Yeah.
vampires.
Well, or a superhero show, it doesn't matter. It's got that
No, it's
soap
working.
opera kind of, teen angst type of feel to it.
But you know what? You got to give the people what they want, and they want some drama.
Yeah.
Yeah,
People love drama.
and it's fun to play.
Oh, yeah. It has to be fun to play because,
Mhm.
yeah, it's not like you're playing the reserved, quiet guy in the corner. You know,
No,
yeah,
no.
there's some meat to those roles.
Yeah, and you know when you get put into a gold like brocade like ridiculous outfit
Did
with
they let you keep any of the outfits?
no.
Because speaking of a Halloween costume,
That would be a number. But the costumes do so much work for you. It completely transforms your body because
yeah,
there's certain restrictions when you're wearing them, then you can't sit the way that you
yeah, you
normally
can't
get.
slump or anything in them.
No, and so it then all of a sudden it raises your status, or you're someone who's trying to raise their status and like make themselves look better. So there's so many more choices that you get when you get to put the costume actually on, and it
A
really
period piece has to be the best shows to be on because you do get to dress up, and you've done
yeah.
several of them now.
Yeah. Well, sci-fi is the same thing though,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you get your own new costume, but it's just set in a new world. But there is something that I do love about a period piece, and I think it's just I have a period piece face, if that makes sense. Like
Well,
there's like
we've proven that. We've seen, the mustache and the hair, so we
yeah,
know.
the ghost of my great whoever. The I should probably learn who that is. But there's like a trend now with different types of hats, like a bucket hat. If I put on a bucket hat, I look like an 18th century peasant who's begging for food. It's not like I look fashionable or cool. Like I look like I've transformed to someone who needs help. So so yeah, period piece. Future ones come my way. Come my way.
I should have mentioned Good Sam because we watched that one as well. I
Okay.
thought it was a really good show, and when your character showed up on there, um, it felt kind of like maybe a one off, like you're going to be on and off, and then you
Mhm.
just kept showing up.
Yeah. That was my experience too. The original contract I think was for 2 episodes,
Yeah,
and
they must
the
have liked you.
the second episode ended with a proposal, and I was like, oh, I think I'll be back.
I get at
The
least one more.
I got one more in me. Put me in, coach. That one was really fascinating because we were airing as we were shooting.
Yeah.
So episodes were coming out when we were still actively
Oh,
shooting,
yeah,
and they
yeah.
were because it was cable TV, it was network TV,
Right.
and they were changing storylines based off of like how things were received and whatnot. But
Oh, yeah, that's it. I never thought of that. But yeah, if you were airing shows while you're filming, you
Mhm.
could make those adjustments.
Yeah, and that was my first time doing network TV like that, where adjustments could be made as it was happening. Because most of the time I've worked on a streamer where they had the full arc of the season mapped out already or written, and it became a really great experience acting wise because sometimes you would have like two different choices
Yeah.
depending on which direction the story might go. And it gave you like a lot to sink your teeth into. And like that was another like role where learning like the world, like the medical world, and making that second nature because the drama of what's happening between the people is the priority. So like learning how to do things properly so that a person who's watching you who is in the medical world doesn't go, "Oh yeah, they're doing that wrong,"
Yeah.
or that person would be dead, you know. That's in
Yeah.
that.
You want to get the medical stuff right because
Uh,
it's same as with when you're firing a weapon. People are going to know if you're not close, at
yeah.
least.
Yeah, they're gonna know. They're gonna know, like, oh yeah, that person's thumb would be whatever blown off, or that's not where that cable goes. So those things really do matter. And that was a really beautiful experience because we got to be the same sex proposal for I think the first time on CBS.
Oh,
And
yeah. That's kind of a big deal.
yeah, and that was really lovely to get to be a part of that milestone. And
Yeah. They can't take that one away. That's there
no.
forever.
No, you can't. That yeah, film is forever.
That's right.
And yeah, and we shot that during COVID. And so we
Oh,
were
yeah.
like surrounded by medical professionals all the time. So there's a really great wealth of knowledge for us to have at every twist and turn.
Yeah. 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 I imagine so. I imagine so. Any desire at some point to step behind the camera?
Yeah, I've actually begun producing my own short film,
Oh,
which is
good for you.
a
Yeah.
proof of concept for a feature film. There's something with learning every different avenue of the art that you do just
Yeah.
informs it more so. Like the more you understand the craft of the story, the better that you understand your position in it as an actor, because 9 times out of 10, you are not the most important thing in the film. Even the lead actor isn't. It's the story that is important. So making sure
Right.
that you're making choices that push the story forward or aligned with it instead of like, I don't know, you can see movies or projects where somebody is um very good, but you're like, it doesn't make sense. You're like, oh, that
Yes.
was so funny. They're so great, but like, why are they doing that? And
Right.
and 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 it happens a lot because people are trying to be like showstoppers instead of making the whole project good. But being on the other side of things, that has really been ingrained in me when I'm on camera
Yeah.
and learning like camera angles and lenses and tricks and just knowing like when something's pushing in and what does that mean. And I mean a really big thing that I learned on Invasion was it's like the first time I've done a lot of action sequences
Yeah.
and how much you have to shoot because editing for action sequences is
That's right.
because that creates the tension, it creates the momentum, it creates the hype, like the adrenaline. And so we would be shooting things for like 4 or 5 days. And I'm excited to see how it all comes together because normally
Yeah.
it's like slower two-hander scenes type
Right.
stuff. But like learning all of those different camera angles and whatnot just informs all of your other art. And I think we're kind of like at an opportunity where creators don't have to be reliant on major studios giving them an
That's
opportunity.
right.
I think there's a lot of independent creators that are doing a lot of really great things, and we have so much more access to technology, to creatives, to ways of like pitching yourself and putting yourself out there that it would be a lost opportunity to not take advantage of
Now
the
you
amount.
have to do that. If
Yeah,
nothing else, just to fill the slower times.
yeah. Or you know what? Maybe that project creates the
Yeah.
faster times, right?
Yeah. Well,
So
yeah, you're creating your own opportunities doing that.
mhm. And it just when you are going back onto those like bigger sets or whatnot, you just have a better understanding and a greater wealth of knowledge.
Well,
And
yeah, I was going to say that it has to help you on the acting side,
mhm.
understanding a little bit better about angles and how to shoot certain things, or different things that directors do while they're on set. All that has to make you a better actor, even if you never use it to do your own stuff.
Yeah. Well, art informs art, right? And then at the end of the day, all of it is just fun. So why
Yeah,
wouldn't you want to just have a good time? And having been on all of those projects, the wealth of people who are now in my community and my circle that I have access to, and I'm so deeply grateful for, and so many of them have helped me in so many different ways, including my ability to come to the States and work in the States, is I would be amiss not to just say, "Hey, are you free? You want to do something?"
right.
And most people are like, "Yeah, let's
Yeah,
do it."
let's do it.
Yeah, so like I think in the future, most artists these days are hyphenates anyways, and I think like even looking at some of your top tier, more successful actors, they're not just actors, they're
Yeah,
like
you don't run into too many just actors anymore.
no. You're a brand, you're a producer, you're a production company, you're a director, you're a
Yeah,
writer. Like it's in order to be in the arts, you have to be more than one thing now
yeah.
also. So getting my
Are you creative in other ways? Do you paint or draw anything
yeah.
like that? Yeah.
Yeah. I actually ran my own Etsy shop during the pandemic as a way
Oh,
to also make
nice.
income. And that was what I went to school for when my art teacher created that little
Oh,
portfolio.
that's right. That's right.
But that has like I think of having a visual background and a visual mindset is also what draws me to film is because you are creating
Yeah.
a, a picture. You're
Yeah, it's
creating,
art.
what goes here, what goes there. And I think that's why I'm so like connected to the costumes of it and just going, oh, now that I know what the visual feels like, then that changes how I'm gonna portray this.
Right.
And so it all like slowly comes together. But yeah, I ran that Etsy shop and then I also draw tattoos for people sometimes.
Oh, very
Not that I can
nice.
put them on the body, but I've been hired to.
Yeah, but I mean, you can find somebody to do the tattoo part, but
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
design's what it's about because you don't want a bad design.
No, you don't want a bad design. And you also don't want me with a needle,
Yes.
truly.
Yeah, you would not want to give me a needle to do any type of work on
Mhm.
you. That would be a mistake. That would not end well for either one of us.
No, I can't even. I'm just now I'm trying to imagine what it's like to be a tattoo artist and just being that close to a needle. That's a lot of grit. That's a lot of
Yeah.
you have a strong stomach.
Yeah. I agree. Agree.
Mm.
Agree. I'll tell you that here's my bad needling, we'll call it.
Okay. Hmm.
So I had well, the kids had a dog that became diabetic. So we had to give it shots, which meant I had to give it shots.
Naturally.
So the first time, I'm trying it. The dog was great. He didn't complain or anything, but I grabbed the little skin and put squeezed it. Well, I had put the needle through both pieces of skin. So then when I squeezed it, it just shot the
Oh,
medicine.
oh. So you had to do it again.
So I do it again. And at that point, I'm like kind of grossed out
Yeah,
at
I
that
would be
point.
too.
He was fine. I struggled with that, but
I
we
don't
got
understand.
better after.
Well, I think if you're receiving the needle, you understand the pain of it, so it's like it's okay.
Yeah, it's
But
not that bad.
if
Yeah.
you're administering the pain and you don't know, you're like,
Oh yeah. I'd rather get it myself than have to
Mhm.
give it to somebody.
Agreed,
Yeah,
agreed.
100%. Well,
Same page.
Stephen, thank you for taking a little bit of time. This has been terrific. Invasion's out now. There's just one episode out now, right? Or is there two?
There's just one, but
Yeah,
maybe
that's
by
what
the
I
time
thought.
it
Yeah,
airs, there'll be three.
that's right.
Yeah,
That's right. That's right. When you're watching this, there's been
yeah,
three, but currently just the one,
yeah. But currently
which
one
was great. I've already watched that one. That was really good.
strong start.
Yeah, a strong start. I think that's a good way to say it. But before I let you go, Stephen, couple little things. Anything else that you're working on, we can keep an eye out for.
Nothing that I can say yet, which is
Yeah.
the annoying film answer, but it's coming.
It's well, so I'm assuming once you're able to talk about it, you'll put that out on social media. So where can we find you there?
You can find me Instagram S Tracy one.
Yep.
Sometimes people call me Stracy in real life. Or you can just check out IMDb, whatnot. But
Yeah, yeah.
not
Yeah,
as
it came right up when I put it in. It came right up. And
okay, good.
Instagram's really the only one you need.
True. It is our biggest marketer out there right
Show me what you're doing and what you're eating, and I'm good.
now. Great. I got you. I
Yeah,
got you.
that's all
I
I
took too
need.
many pictures of food. Way too many pictures of food.
That's right. Well, Stephen, open invitation. When you're ready, reach back out. We'll do it again.
Oh, amazing. This has been so great, Michael. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. Yeah, this has been terrific. Okay, hold on one second. Stephen Tracy. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. I was a fan of his just from The Expanse. Now I've talked to him. I mean, he's terrific. It's hard not to root for somebody that is that nice, and he's really talented. If you want to see just like a master class in acting, check out Mr. Phillips on And with the Need. Unbelievable. I meant it. I absolutely loved his character on there. I thought he was fantastic in that role. Really great on The Expanse too. I think I hit everything I want. Oh, he did do an episode of Quantico. He played Pat. That was a really good show too, especially if you're kind of interested in that FBI side of law enforcement. Really, really good show. But he did an episode of that as well. Thank you guys for tuning in with us again this week. Definitely don't take you for granted. Happy that you're here. Love to have your support. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Please subscribe. It's free, but it really does help us out. So while you're watching all these great interviews, and I say great because of the guests we have on, not because of anything that I'm doing. But while you're watching, just click subscribe. It really helps us out. Our website's meistercon.com. You can find over 1,000 episodes on their audio and video versions. So if you're a fan of someone, go see if we've talked to them. Chances are pretty good that we've had them on the show. Or probably more specifically, if you're a fan of a specific show, come check it out. I can almost guarantee we've had somebody from that show on the podcast. Thank you guys so much. Till next time. Bye, everybody.